Hey everyone, I am here at RVA Katana and I'm going to show off some of the new swords that we've been getting in stock. So basically, one of the cool things we've been getting is from Heaven and Earth Forge. And so you can see here, if it doesn't get stuck like it is, it's stuck, that we have this one here. It's basically a gold saya. It has this dragon theme to it on the tuba. And what's pretty cool about this is that it's real ray skin under here on the handle on the ska, and then it also has the leather wrapped around. Sorry, gold leather, then wrapped around with synthetic silk. One of the things that we have, what's really nice about this, is the polish job. So you can see the hamon and the polish. You can see how that really comes out. Let me see if I can get a good angle right there. And you can see how it has that splashy, flamey hamon going on about it right there. Yep. And so we just got this in from Ming Imperial Armory. And you can see here that it has that really cool tuba. I'm trying to do it in such a way that I don't stab the phone. And again, we have here, it comes in a gold saya, gold speckled saya. So along those lines with a really cool polish, we also have this one, which I designed. I'm very pleased with this one here. You can see that it has this lattice style tsuba. Could I chop a deer's leg off with it? You probably could, but it wouldn't be great with this particular blade. We have blades that would be better for that than that one. Because those types of blades have like sort of an expensive polish on them, they're more for display. I mean, they're functional. You could use them. You could cut with them. But any type of use is bound to scuff the polish. And then here you can see this one is a full ray skin wrap on the saya, black ray skin. And once again, that silver leather underneath synthetic purple. And then it has this very geometric fit to it. But that's not where all the geometric theme ends. If you look here at the habaki also has that geometric set. And then as I pull it out farther, can you please open the gold one again? I will do that in a moment after I show this one off since it's out. You can see this one's particular hamon has that checkered zigzag look to it as well. And once again, showing here. Do we send to the UK? Sadly, it's very risky to send to the UK. We've had a lot of things, not me, but one of my forge partners has had a lot of swords that have been seized at customs and they haven't been able to clear. So there are rules that we can get it through, but it's really hard. Sometimes they just don't make it through. And so we don't really want to take the risk with expensive swords. So back to the gold one. You wanted to see the gold one again. Let me just turn it over to this angle. And so the gold one, you can see it has this kind of zigzag hamon going on about it. And this is from Ming Imperial Armory. Oh, this is cool. I'm looking at the other side. This is what's called tobiyaki. You can see a little piece of the, getting a bad reflection. You can see a little part of the hamon jumps. It has this little pieces that come above, and that's called tobiyaki. Are you selling? Yes. Go to rva-katana.com. These particular swords are not yet online. I need to take pictures of them, and I'm not very good at taking pictures of them, but I will take pictures of them. They will be up. These are $450, but the one with the ray skin is $500 because that is more expensive. All right, let's move on. There's another one here. This isn't exactly new, but it's also from Ming Imperial Armory. I've had this for a couple of weeks, but I like to show it off because same thing. It has this cool silver wave look. It has the silver leather underneath the blue synthetic silk, and the blade itself. I'm buying one of the swords and excited. Thanks. Which sword are you getting? And now look at the hamon here. This is a wave hamon. I'm a big fan. I mean, you see people call it hamon. It's kind of like Michael Jackson, shamon, but it's actually, if you say it correctly, it's hamon. There's an emphasis on the ha, and the mon is not so much like a moan in English as much as a mon. So yeah, Dooney, I can't even read it very well, but what sword did you get? I'm curious. So are these combat rated? So these, they are all sharp, they are all full tang. So yes, you could use them, they are functional. But once again, these particular swords, because of the polish and because of the hamon, they're kind of better, more for display to show off to your friends. But yes, you could use them, but I wouldn't recommend it because anytime you cut through anything more than say a pool noodle, you risk scuffing that polish. And then this particular polish, to get this kind of polish, adds like, well, it's expensive. Let's just say that. I went to order the 3 different katanas with a sword stand. Would they come with origin and discretion? I have no idea what that means. Does that mean that you want it not to look like a katana? Like as in, this is a large size sex toy? I have no idea what that means. Got my blue blade katana Thursday. Absolutely beautiful. Awesome. I'm glad you love it. Shipped to UAE, display only. I don't know the rules for imports to UAE, but I can look it up. Go to send me an email, rva.katana@gmail.com. So anyway, most of the swords here have a cool polish. These 3 have the nicest polish out of this set. But we also have other swords as well. And this one, for example, is one of my favorite themes, Blossom theme. See there, it has the Kashira and the Fuchi. This is one of my favorite sets. Random, do you know Datu Kelly Warden, NSI? If not, no worries. Not sure, but go ahead and send me a message and I'd have to think about that. Let's see. Do you have any antiques? I do have one antique left. I don't have it here. I don't keep it at the shop. Do you have any fancy steak knives? Sorry, I do not. I want a super nice long one. I don't know what that means. What type of steel? These are T10 steel, the one we just looked at, or T10 steel. This is folded steel. And so you can see here in the polish, that gray polish that brings out, so when you think polish, you think bright. But in this case, with swords, when you're talking about the polishing, sometimes they want to make it actually more of a cloudy look to bring out the features of the sword. In this case, you can see how it brings out the hamon, the cutting edge, as well as the folds inside the steel. So, but yeah, this is one of my favorite designs. Has a nice leather wrap. This is from Han Workshop, this particular sword, from Han Workshop. And so I asked them to build this for me. You can see it also has the Sakura theme on the habaki as well. Short sword, left hand. I do have some short swords, but not in this room. I can take you out there in a few minutes. Damascus blades. We do have Damascus blades. These are not Damascus blades. Usually when we talk about Damascus, we're talking about using multiple types of steel that are folded together to create cool patterns. And I don't seem to have any Damascus in this room. Oh, actually I do. Check this one out. This is another new arrival that we got. This is also from Ming Imperial Armory. This is a tanto. So if those who want a steak knife, I guess this could suffice if you wanted. This one has a pink suede wrap. But this one is also Damascus. Wait for it. And so you can see this is rotary folded Damascus. So I'm sorry, rotary Damascus. So it's pink and blue, sorry, red and blue, and it has those stripy lines in it, and that comes from them taking the steel. Once they like fold it together, then they start to twist it, and then they flatten it again to create that look. So this is rotary Damascus. Someone asked, is folded steel better than T10 steel? No. Whenever you fold steel, and sometimes people fold T10 steel, but anytime you fold steel, you actually increase the risk of having forging flaws, so that when you're cutting something, you do risk breaking it. And so folded steel was a necessity for Japanese swords, 300 years ago, 500 years ago, so 1,000 years ago, when they didn't have very good quality steel. 1045 folded steel with dragon theme. I want it. Can you show me the Katana Kobose 1045 steel with dragon theme? I want it. Okay, let me grab one of it here. It's actually up on this wall. Luckily, I don't have to go very far. I can reach it. Here we are. So this is the swirling dragon theme, Kobuse. It is folded steel around 1045. So for those of you who are asking about Damascus, this is another type of method. Kobuse is when it's kind of like a taco. They have like the cutting edge steel surrounding like a soft iron core. So it kind of looks like, I'm doing a very bad job, but you get the idea. It's kind of like a taco like this. So the middle section traditionally was soft iron, and then they used tamahagane, which is like the Japanese jewel steel or the basically traditional Japanese steel wrapped around it. But this particular one is 1045 steel that's wrapped around, folded steel wrapped around 1045. And this has a really pretty blade as well. You can actually see the lamination lines in the hamon. So you can see how the color of the hamon sort of changes It sort of jumps here, and that comes from the two different types of steel. But this is the Katana Kobusei, the Kobusei 1045 folded. And I'm a big fan of these particular fittings here. I'm a dragon kind of person myself. There. And then you can see the Kashira here. We have one more of the Kobusei, but it's a little bit out of my reach. I can not quite reach it. I have a ladder, but then I would have to leave for a while. So, let me go see. It looks like there are 6 new messages. Let me go see what they're saying. How much is the average sword? Depends on what you're looking for. We have 1060 steel, which is a good cutting steel, with very few frills for $60, and then $80. Then we go all the way up to $1,000. How much this run me? It depends. I think if you were asking about the Kobusei, that one is $400. Can I see Tanjiro sword? I need one with more bling. Okay, well, I'm going to come out here, so we'll start with the Tanjiro sword, and then we will go to bling. So here's a Tanjiro sword, 1045 carbon steel. It is sharp, but it's not like razor sharp. It's really hard to get razor sharp on these types of swords. So this is Tanjiro sword. As you see, we also have some other Demon Slayer swords and also some One-Piece swords. These are, if you go to my website, rva-katana.com, these are usually $150, but they are $25 off. I just got a big shipment of them, and they're taking up a lot of space, so I'm willing to clear them out for less. What price range are your swords? Basically 80 to 1,000 and up. So someone said we can actually answer second questions here, which is about bling. And this is like where all the bling is. This is Cloudhammer Forge. And so there's a lot of bling, there's a lot of expensive swords, both functional, that is highly functional swords for regular cutting, and then also display swords. But for bling, this is probably the blingiest sword that we have in shop right now. Probably maybe tied for the top. And so you see here it also has like dragon themes, and you can see the casting is a much better quality than the other ones. So it has that dragon theme there, also on the Kashira. And here. And then this is wine red ray skin. So the ray skin wrap really increases the price. So this is a $1,000 sword. Price range is actually much more reasonable than I thought it would be. These are beautiful swords, thanks. Well, if we had actual swords from Japan made of tamahagane, you're talking about at least $2,000 to $3,000. But this one here, what's really nice about it is this particular Hamon line. This is a unique Hamon line. No one else has done it. This is the only sword which Cloudhammer made with this particular Hamon line. It has what's called a 3-color polish. So if you look carefully, there's 3 shades. There's like on the edge, it's sort of a gray. In the middle, it's translucent. And this actually has a double bohi fuller to lighten the weight. What's your location? Ray Fishskin, yes, Ray Fishskin. And we are in Richmond, Virginia. I don't know what kind of ray it is. It's probably some kind of ray. I really couldn't tell you. You can see it has little nodules here inside the tsuba. Do you have Batosai Kenshin? Do I have that? Well, let me show you. This is a very high-end one. I have 2 types. One is $200. This one is $650. And this is basically Kenshin's reverse blade. And so as I pull it out, I have to be careful because the edge is on the opposite side. You can see, I don't see if you can tell if the grain pattern inside the steel. But this is like a really high-end, differentially hardened reverse blade sword. You will see, if you go on my TikTok, you'll see me cutting with this sword, cutting basically the paper along the reverse edge here. Lol, I thought you were in Japan. No, definitely not in Japan. A Japanese sword, seriously, a Japanese-made katana is going to cost you bottom $2,000, and that's without the fittings. But you can get an antique, like a low-end antique for that much. But yeah, so these are made in Longtren, China. Swordsmiths in Japan can only make a certain amount of sword per year. Yes, they use tamahagane, which is basically iron sand, which has been smelted together with pine charcoal. And there's one place that makes tamahagane, and they limit how much is made per year. They get a ration. That said, there's often overflow, and you can buy. There are people who buy tamahagane, but not usually. They get not the best kinds. They're getting kind of like the scraps that are left over from the regular smiths. Strict on how it's made. Yes, there's a really cool video out there which shows how they were trying to make it for 2021. It is a really fascinating video to watch and see all the things that went into it. So there's another version of the Rurouni Kenshin one over here. This is also a reverse blade. This one is $200 as opposed. This one's $650. This one's $200. And the difference is this. I'm going to go put the expensive one down before I break it. But here it is. You can see there's also a reverse blade. This is made of carbon steel, so I mean you really can't compare in terms of, this is functional, you can cut with it, but it is not great. So, yep. So that is another Kenshin sword. Do you have any from Japan to compare with? I don't have any here. I do have an antique Japanese sword back at home. You can look at my other TikToks, which shows my antique, and I'm getting a few more. Do you have a website? Shipping? Yes. rva-katana.com. Shipping depends on where you are. In the U.S., I can definitely ship you in the U.S. It takes about 3 days, and it is basically about $10 on the East Coast, going up to about $15 on the West Coast, because I'm here on the East Coast. What's your most traditional cultural katana you have? Well, I don't have it here, but I do have a 500-year-old one that is for sale for $3,500, but I don't keep it here. And other than that, the other ones was someone just asked to see a kobuse style blade. Kobuse is when, actually I have another one here. Let me show you. This is one of my more expensive swords here. And I haven't actually fit the scabbard. I got the scabbard separately, the saya. But this one also has white brass fittings. And then here, you can see it has that. This is a blue leather. It's very tight. And then has TikTok sales helped you get funds to acquire more antiques? Yes. So you can see here, this is a kobuse with a really cool polish to it. And so once again, for those of you who are asking, before, kobuse is like a taco. Like the outer layer is folded steel while the inner is a softer steel. Traditionally, they would use a soft iron, but in this case, this one uses spring steel on the inside, and spring steel gives a little bit of flexibility. Let's see, actual sword that was used during that time by samurai. That's why. Yes, I do have some. I do have one exactly. Did you ever see the TikTok where they make and sell the katana? No, I did not. I need a standard katana battle ready. I have many. How do I buy? Go to rva-katana.com, rva-katana.com. Let's see what else. Other comments. What sword has the best edge on them? So in here, let me show you. These are, this one over here is made of SX105V. It's a Japanese tool steel, and this one is a tachi. If you can see, it has a really massive curve to it. I'm going to take it out of its scabbard, and you can see if I put this on my center line here, notice how it curves all the way over to the side. This is like on my center, and it's curving all the way to the side here. But this is made of SX105V. SX105V is a Japanese tool steel, and it holds an edge really well. If you're familiar with the HRC, the Rockwell scale, it has a hardness of 58 like this. If you differentially harden it, that is, you clay it and then, well, they don't actually clay these ones, but if you make it so the edge is harder than the spine with differential hardening processes, then this can actually reach about a 61. Okay. So that's probably the one that holds the edge the best. Sheesh, that's an expensive blade. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually one of my favorites, just because I love big bends. I cannot lie. I love big bends, and I cannot lie. So yeah, that one, and here's another one. If you see the one above it, not only does it have a big bend, but it's extra long as well. So this one is a 31-inch blade, and you can see how big it is. And this one has what's called a choji hamon. So you can see here that it has like that, what's called a 3-color polish. Yeah. And it's very long. It just keeps on going and going and going. This is called a handachi. A handachi because it's like a tachi, which has, like this one, I put it upside down, but all the various hangers and things. Versus this one here is a handachi. It doesn't have the hangers, but it has the semagane and the whatever kane. Kojiri, sayajiri. I'm sorry, that's the term. Okay, lots of questions. Has TikTok sales? Oh, wait, here he is. How do I buy? I think I've covered that. I need a standard katana. Oh, I'm going back, sorry. Let's see, more questions. I think I've caught up. No, I haven't. Let's see. Do you have a shihozome? Shiko mizue. I am not sure what that is. What swords have the sharpest edge? I think I talked about that. What is the typical look used by samurai? You know, most of the samurai, it depends on what era. During the warring era, before 1600, when they were fighting, they went for really simple looks. I mean, they weren't concerned about having really flashy, blingy swords. They were more about, let's have functional swords. So, Do you have battle ready? They're all, I hate that term, but yes, they're full tang and sharp. Almost all the swords except for 5 in here are battle ready. Ugh, I hate that term. Like in Ghost of Tsushima. Well, since you best mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, I also have one right here. So this is a Ghost of Tsushima blade. This is the low end one. This is made of carbon steel with a, what we call a wire brushed hamon. But I have a nicer one as well that has an amazing hamon. The hamon is created by differential hardening. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? It's somewhere. I see it over there. So we're going to turn around to the Chinese swords here. And coming to the back. This is the higher end Ghost of Tsushima sword. So you see here, it has a really nice hamon. The fittings are brass, so they're a higher quality, very thick. Hey, can you actually ship these? Yes, very easy to ship inside the United States. Cost about $10 to ship them along the East Coast, up to about $15 on the West Coast. So this one has a really cool, this is the Ghost of Tsushima sword with brass fittings. Let's see. Answering more questions. We have 47 new messages. Nice blade, beautiful sword. Thank you, thank you. What oil should I use for my katana? Okay, so 3-in-1 is good. Most people use what's called choji oil. And it's basically specifically used for Japanese swords, and so you can get it on Amazon for like 15 bucks for a big bottle that you'll never use up unless you have like a whole store full of swords like I do. Can these cut tatami mat? Yes, you can go look through some of the videos, some of the TikToks I've posted where we are cutting tatami mats. Do you have any like fake ones? Not sure what you mean by that. Not sharp? Yes, we have some display ones, pure display ones. Finally, someone who makes real swords. I don't actually make them. I do design them, and I work with 6 forge partners, and they put them together for me because I have no artistic talent in terms of actually making things with my hands. Except for these sword racks. I've made those from hand. Let's see. Do you ship to Colombia? I don't know about the import rules. How about a straight blade? Yes, we have one. What is the longest sword you have? Longest sword, I got to think about that. Right, currently I don't have it here, but I have one with a 39-inch blade, and the total length is about 5 feet. Are they for sale? Yes, they are. What is your favorite blade? Oh, there are too many. I just love so many here. Do you have a Shiko Mizue? Someone asked that already. I'm not sure what that is. Love the 3-color blades. So do I. Guys, tap his screen. It's very rare you get someone like him who knows what he's talking about. Actually, a lot of people know what they're talking about. They're just not on TikTok. But me, I'm an attention whore, so I love being in front of this. I would not want to see a ninja with that looking at me. You wouldn't see the ninja, man. You don't see the ninja. They just stab you and you're dead. Do you ship to Colombia? I don't know if it'll go there. What is considered the most practical? So a practical sword, practical sword is a big question here. Basically, practical says, what are you going to use the sword for? And so the best swords that we have are S5 steel, and those are meant to be sword on sword, hit another sword, hit something hard, and they won't break. So we have those, and S5. So you're the one that keeps buying all the swords on eBay. I wish. But in terms of practical, it really depends on what are you using it for. And so if you're going to be using it just to cut mats, you don't need something like S5. We say even a basic 51 CRV4 or a 9260 spring steel is going to be fine for you. Let's see. What oil should I use? I think I'm falling behind. Tomato cutting ready. Those are actually kind of hard. Why do you hate the term battle ready? I don't. Battle ready to me means that it's full tang, it's sharp, it has a good thing. But I don't know. Battle ready seems like a very loaded term. I'm not a big fan. Where's Hattori Hanzo? He was an actual historical figure from about 1580, 1590 Japan. He was a real ninja who helped the Tokugawa shogunate get established. And what I really don't like is how he's somehow turned into a swordsmith. He wasn't a swordsmith. He was actually a real warrior ninja. I want that one. How much? I'm not sure. What is your heaviest sword? I have some long ones. What is the smallest katana you have? We have some tanto. Battle ready is such a red thing. How much? Follow. Sorry. Can I have one if you pay for it? Yes. Nice studio of swords. Thank you. This is actually my martial arts school. I teach Wing Chun Kung Fu. And so all these sword racks are on wheels. So you can see I can move them around. So when we're not having class, they get wheeled into a storeroom and get locked away. Do you ship to Colombia? I have said before, I am not sure what the import rules are. Where are we located? Richmond, Virginia. Wait, I feel like I'm falling behind. 29 new messages. Do you bamboo ones for kendo? So you're asking about shinai, I assume. And shinai we do not sell. We do not sell shinai, but I do recommend go to Ibogu. They do sell shinai. What we do have are what's called takemitsu, and these are wooden blade swords. We have a handful of them, and so as you see, they're not going to cut. You can stab yourself. I've actually stabbed myself with this guy. So these are fun because you can actually practice your drawing techniques, and then and sheathing. So these are fun. You can do it safely. So chance to deliver to the UK. To UK, there's always a risk because there's certain rules, and I've had like one of my forge partners that had like a dozen swords seized at customs, so we really don't like to take that risk. Do you have a Fujitora sword from One Piece? let me put this away. I'm not an anime person, so I can't tell you which One Piece swords we have, but we do have One Piece swords. So you will see here, you're looking at my face really close. I'm sorry about that. So we have two One Pieces. Actually, there's a third one in here somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. But we have, 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 swords from One Piece. Difference between Japanese and Chinese swords. Where to start? You know, the Japanese sword came out of Tang Dynasty style swords. So let me show you a traditional Tang Dynasty sword. This is one of my favorite in shop. And you can see here that it has like all these different types of fittings, like a hanger and stuff. And then the blade, for those of you who like the ninja swords, the quote-unquote ninja swords, you'll see it has that tip. And check out the Damascus pattern on this guy. It is absolutely beautiful. But anyway, Japan started bringing swords in from China around 700 AD, and they would have looked something like this. And then the early Japanese swords started to look a little bit like that, but then they started putting more and more of a curve. So there was an evolution with that. And so later on, you would have what was called the kogurasu. And so coming into this room here, you will see, for example, this is a kogurasu sword. And so you can see it has that same curved edge like a katana. Well, this is a katana, but you can see how the end rounds into a tip. And so these were some of the earlier Japanese style blades. And it's called kogurasu. And then later it became like the katana that we know today. But what you'll see is like Tang Dynasty style swords really influenced tachi. And so you can see these tachi were kind of like originally used from horseback. And so they had like all this extra things that you would hang it from your belt this way instead of inserting it into your sash this way. And so it was drawn a different way. But if you notice, it has all these hangers. And in that way, it's pretty similar to a Tang Dynasty style sword. Let's see. Whew, been talking a lot. Do we have purple? Yes, we have purple. But I'm not sure where. Lots of it. Or actually, I do know where. But let me try to catch up with comments because there are 40. And I apologize for this. Where are you located? Richmond, Virginia. Are you open today? Yes, I'm open until 4 o'clock today in Richmond, Virginia. So if you're not in Richmond, you might have hard time getting here in time. Why do you hate the term battle ready? How come I keep on seeing that? I just don't like the term. I think it's kind of loaded. How old are the sword makers? What age generation? They're all fairly young people. Katana time, yes. Are you open today? Yes. Until 4. How much is a good sword? Good is relative. So a decent sword you can get for about as low as 80. But once you want to get better and better ones, you're going $300, $500, $1,000. Can I cut metal? Depends on what kind of metal and how much damage you're willing to take to your blade. It's just the sheer physics of it. There's no, unless you're using vibranium, there's nothing that's really going to cut steel without taking damage itself. Is Stephen Hayes still around? If he was, he's a ninja. You wouldn't be able to see him, right? Is it possible for katana to slice through a katana? Depends if it's like low quality steel versus high quality steel. Do you ship to the Netherlands? I think it is available today. Are you open today? Yes. Do you unsheath your katana facing up or down? Well, I train a little bit, and when I train, we do it with the blade up. But other styles, actually, our style, we do it from the side as well. That is, we'll take the saya and pivot it this way so we can do horizontal cuts. But plenty of people will do a vertical cut. Look for Ronin Jitsu on TikTok. He does a lot of cool vertical cuts. Do you have any cane swords? No, I do not. Can we see that Ghost of Tsushima sword? Okay, coming back out. I'm falling so far behind because I like to talk, and I'm sorry about that. So here's the low-end Ghost of Tsushima sword, and then we have a higher end over there. If you had to go to war, which would you go to war sword with? So, one of the S5s over here. Do you ship to the Netherlands? I feel like I'm falling behind. I'm going to go ahead, and if I miss your question, I'm sorry. I'm going to reverse this. Where's the Tensa Zengatsu? I am not sure. Do you practice using a sword? Yes, I do. Shikozomi is a cane sword. Yeah, I don't have that. How much are tachi, and will they break easily? So we have the tachi start at about 175. Actually, we have one for 150, which is 1045 steel. You would have to try to break it. It won't break just on everyday regular use, but I mean, it will break if you put it through enough. I mean, that's just physics. What is the most expensive katana you have? I think I've shown that earlier. Let's see. What is the question? Red flag to me. What with intention rather than respect to the art? Okay, sure, dude. How much is an S5? S5 start at $625 shipped to in the U.S. Could you explain the tempered clay forge? Okay, so there's something called yakiide. Yakiide, and yakiide is what they did. Let me go ahead and bring you over to this rack over here, which has both the daisho, the short and the long. I'm going to spin it around, kind of like Vanna White. Ding. Okay, so yakiide, what it was that they would, once they were finished folding the steel, they would cover the blade in clay, and then they would pinch parts off, or there's actually a more complicated process to it, and then they would heat it, and they would cool it again. And when steel cools quickly during the quenching process, it becomes harder. So the clay would insulate the blade and keep it from cooling too fast, while the edge would cool faster, and so it's actually harder on the edge than the spine. Don't see the resemblance to Vanna. Yeah, sorry. I wish I was blonde and pretty too. But I did spin around the sword rack, right? So here we go. So you can see here it has that gray. This is the clay tempering. Let's see. Website, rva-katana.com. Which is your favorite sword by far? I have too many to go by. Do you guys want to see some European swords? Do I hear a yes? Because I actually, oops, wrong spot. I actually have 3 European swords here. Nice katana, bro. Thank you. Whew, talking too much. Okay, I see a yes. Okay, so you're gonna have to bear with me a second here. I'm gonna go behind. You can go just admire all these swords, and I'll talk so you can hear my pretty voice while I go pull some out. So I have here an arming sword. Isn't it pretty? Okay, that's not. All right. So this one is made of SX105V. This is made by Cloudhammer, same one who did these katana back here. This one is actually going to be a prize over at a cutting competition in Phoenix, Arizona in January. So this one is one of our few European swords in stock. Where's the shop located? It is in Richmond, Virginia. Yes, this is very functional. If you go to Aikidoka on YouTube, you can see him cutting with a longer version of this. Looks like a knight's sword. Well, this is an arming sword. Cavalry sword, guess what? Okay, hold that thought. I'm gonna come in. I have 3 more European swords here. Actually, 4 more. Okay. Here's the other one here. Once again in a pretty box with tape on it. And, oh, wrong sword. This is actually the 2-handed one. I'm going to move this back a little bit so you can see the whole thing. It has a leather sheath, and there it is. This is S5 steel. This is the only S5 sword I have in the store right now. S5 is shock steel, so the steel is actually usually used for breaking up concrete or for high impact dies. So this is a shock steel. It can take a lot of the beating right here. So this is an S5 longsword. Also made by Cloudhammer, same one who does these swords over here. And I have one more. Someone's asking about a cavalry sword. So let me go grab that. Putting this one away, putting it in the wrong direction. And yeah, that looks painful. I'm 50 years old, so I can't bend over but so. And here is the cavalry sword. It's pretty cool. It's really cool, actually. Big fan. So you can see here it has that guard. And look at that geometry. So it has a curve. Look at that tip there. This one it's heavy and it's not as well balanced as a longsword. The longsword is a chonker. This is a chonker in comparison. The point of balance is much farther here. So this would be good from a horse where the horse's momentum will help you carry the blade through. But this is made out of S5 steel, this one's made of ASAB 88, which is a very hard steel, 61 HRC, and also very chip resistant. In general, the harder a steel is, the more likely it is to chip. And so this one has this type of steel, this type of alloy is very anti-chipping. Okay, thank you for showing us all these beauties. Thank you. Whew. Damascus sword cost and show us. So Damascus swords, about $200. Actually, they're on sale. So if you go to my website, I think they're all $50 off because I'm actually trying to get it out of Damascus katana. Not Chinese swords. I have plenty of Chinese Damascus. But here is one of the Damascus here. And I think it's $150 right now on sale. And so you can see the pattern of the Damascus. We have another one, an Oni themed sword, which is $99. And it's actually, it's a steel. Here's another one. This was one of the Oni Damascus swords, but then the handle broke, so I had to remount it. So this one now has become a copper dragon one. And so here, you can see it has all the ridges in the Damascus. When we say Damascus, it's basically multiple types of steel that are folded together for multiple purposes. Yeah. I might have a customer coming in. If that's the case, I'm going to have to leave you guys and thank you for joining. But no, they didn't come in. Let's see. Oops. Let's see what else we have here. I know this is a long shot, but do you have a Buster sword? I do not. Have you seen Honjo Masamune in person? Yes, I have. I went to a museum and saw one. Yeah. Let's see. Whew, been talking. Okay, since we're on the theme of Damascus, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you the Oni Damascus. This is made by Heaven and Earth Forge. He told me to liquidate it because he had 91 of these guys in the United States. It does have the demon kind of Kill Bill look to it, but only $99. It was originally how much was it originally? Still wrapped. It was originally 200. You can see here how it has that Damascus folded pattern in here. Most expensive katana you make? Well, we make some out of powder steels, Z-Tough and CPM 3V, and those are going to run you about $2,000. I don't have any in stock. He didn't see our Viking sword question. What was the Viking sword question? I missed it. Go ahead and tell me again. Ask me again. Do you got Scandinavian Norse Viking swords? No, I do not. What is your favorite Daisho set? So we'll come back over to the Daisho sets, and I will show you my favorite. It's actually down here. And so this is the Tanto. Daisho is technically Wakizashi and Katana, but I'm going to show you three. And this one, it has like these pretty flowers. I'm a big flower person on my Katana. And same thing here, and the Fuchi and the Kashira. What I like about this is this hamon line. I don't know if you can see it there, but it has this really cool wavy hamon to it. Just became #1 top viewer. Yay! Let's see. And then here is the Wakizashi. This sword is actually up. I have somebody who came in, so I'm going to have to cut this short. Well, actually, he's a student of mine. He can wait a few minutes.
Yeah.
He can wait. Plus, he's got to wipe off his sweat. So here, this is the Wakizashi, and this is what really got me into collecting swords. This is the one I really love the most. And this one is folded steel, and it has a regular hamon to it. You have any bows or axes? Sound like a line from the Lord of the Rings. No, I do not. My bow. No, it's my axe. And then here's the katana. So this is the Daisho set. They're not exactly the same, but they're all flower themed. This one is sanmai, so it basically has 3 layers of steel. And this one has like that kind of cloudy look in the hamon. Can we meet your student? He's laughing and going to the bathroom, so maybe later. I basically teach Wing Chun. I'm here at the shop. No one's in the shop, so he's here. He's going to come and do a lesson. So that's why he came in here. Let's see. So yeah, that's my favorite Daisho set. Yeah. So anyway, here's Russ. He actually has collected. He's got what, 4 or 5?
7.
7. He's gotten 7 swords. Sucker. No, he's got 7 swords from me, and yeah. Average price for some of your sharper blades, they run from about $80 to above $1,000. The sharpness really isn't dependent upon the price. I mean, you can get a really sharp sword of crappy steel. It just won't hold an edge for very long. You teach Aikido? No. I teach Wing Chun? Yes. Okay, I got to go teach this lesson, so thank you all. Would you per to any 3rd degree black belt for katana? I don't understand. What would you perf to any 3rd degree black belt for katana? I have no idea what you're asking, but yeah. Thanks again for watching. I gotta go, and I'm turning this off, I think. There we go.
I don't know what